I'm Nathan Eterno with the Volcano Rescue Team, and today I'm going to do snow machine operations and maintenance. This is our 1979 Bombardier skid dozer 252. I'm going to go over a few operations things with it on the outside. Obviously this is the front, the lights, the radiator. Come around to this side over here. Doors open backwards. This is our litter rack, toolbox. Toolbox opens this way. We got grease guns, grease, straps, anything we need for pulling the machine out or pulling something else out. Battery box is here. Battery box opens with one click here. 2 batteries. Has a disconnect in here to disconnect the batteries. Hydraulic fluid back here. Then we'll go around the back here. This is the fuel tank, an aluminum fuel tank. Opens here to fill it. Takes regular fuel on the back. We have a 12,000 pound power takeoff winch. And our rack for holding gear, supplies. D-rings for hooking onto, for pulling things or this machine out. Same with this hook here. And a fuel tank on back for extra fuel. Okay, so this is the inside. 250 cubic inch Ford engine, automatic. These are called steering brakes. It has a gas pedal and a regular brake. Starts similar to a car. You have your wipers, your headlights, and your heaters here. You have all your gauges, your hour gauges, your RPM, your amps, water, oil, and fuel. Fuel's up here. On the front up here, this is your hazards and turn signals if you need them. So for starting it, we'd have the emergency brake here. We'd turn the emergency brake off, and then starts just like a car. Over here is a choke if needed. Starts just like a car. Give it a little bit of choke. And that's that. It's a little loud. It has a 2-speed transmission, low and high. This is how you run the PTO for the winch, and the winch control is up here, in and out. Simple snowcap maintenance that you would need to know. Air filter here. Dipstick for the oil is on the left side of the engine. There's a clear fuel filter back here that you can look at to make sure it's getting fuel. And then after running it and the engine gets warm, back here in this back corner is the transmission dipstick. Make sure you have your belt. The belt's good, not worn. Make sure everything's free. And I'll show you one thing on the outside with the tracks. Every mission, when this thing goes out on the rollers, each roller has a Zerk fitting on the center of the roller. You take the grease gun out of here. So what this does is, in those bearings, water gets caught in the bearings. You need to put the grease gun on and pump that water out of the bearings. Couple pumps on each one. So this is our 2007 Can-Am 650 quad with tracks on it. I'll start it up for you so you show you some basic operation skills. So brakes in the left hand, pull back, lock for the emergency brake to go on. You turn this to the on position. It will tell you what gear you're in. I'm in park right now. So turning it on, I'm just going to hit the start button. Starts. Turn it off with the key. Headlights here. There's an override for reverse. So when you're in reverse, it has a governor on it, so it'll only let you go 1 speed, which is slow. If you hit the override, you can go faster backwards, like if you're stuck. Has an on-off kill switch here, and these controls are for running the winch. Has high and low gears, reverse. On this side, has 2- and 4-wheel drive selection. It has a 3,000-pound worn winch, strong enough to pull another sled out or pull this sled out, but not strong enough to do a lot of major lifting. Easy way to do that is to, in here, this control, you have a remote control that comes out of here. The remote control will come out and click into this receiver here. This is how you run the remote. Or like I said, you can do the remote up here if you're on it. Sometimes it's easier to be off of it using the remote. If you come around to this side over here, you can look down here on the side. There's a way to lock it, which is locked for it to run, or neutral, so you can free spool and pull it out to wherever you need to hook it to. Simple daily operations when you're driving this. Oil's here. You're checking the oil off of this dipstick, pulling it out. Up here on the front, you're opening this compartment again. And you have radiator fluid, fuses, and brake fluid for your disc brakes. In the back here, in this compartment, you have some straps, some oil, and the toolbox is down here in the bottom, which will help you to get the spark plugs out. Show you how to take the seat off. So you can, on the side over here, pop this seat off, and this seat comes up. Fuel here, regular four-stroke, so it takes regular fuel. And off of here, so you can maintenance anything if anything gets hot or you need to see anything under here. And then around this side. So one of the big pieces on this machine is our tracks. Tracks can wear out. There's a lot of components that can break and crack, and so one of the things you need to do is you need to inspect this sprocket and make sure it has all the teeth. You're inspecting all these little drive wheels, and you're inspecting all the bolts, making sure there's bolts, making sure there's no rust. If there's rust or cracking, usually that's a tell that something's wrong or broken. You're checking the steering linkage to make sure that's good. Anytime you're driving any of these machines, you're accepting responsibility for that. So you need to make sure your machine's up to par. Good. So 2011 Ski-Doo Tundras F550, which is a fan motor. They're fan cooled. So starting procedures is the first thing you're doing is taking the tether off and tethering it to yourself. So you know you're hooking this to your gloves or your shirt, so if you fall off the machine's shutting off, not driving away. So when you're starting it, you're making sure this is connected. You're making sure you're clicking this up. This is the kill switch here. And then, so brakes on. And the machine starts with electric start. Choke's on medium now. Choke's off. Over here you have, take the brake off. You have hand warmers and thumb warmers. The hand warmers are up here, high and low. Thumb warmer, this is your thumb warmer where you're giving your throttle. And then this is your headlights, high and low beams. And this is your reverse on this machine. So this machine, you're hitting reverse. And the machine's actually, the motor turns and it's going the opposite direction. And then it's in reverse. When it beeps, that's how you know it's in reverse. Fuel gauge up here. Fuel gauge, when it's all filled in, it's full. Now the machine switched back into drive. And I'm turning it off with the kill switch and then making sure the key's off. Another way to start this machine if the battery's dead is the pull start. Go. So this Ski-Doo is our workhorse. It's the Tundra. It's made to haul our patient sled, it's made to haul our gear, and it's also made to haul 2 people. It has a little underpowered engine, but it's made to work hard. I'm going to take these cowlings off and show you where the toolboxes are and where the belts are and where the spark plugs are. Those are your crucial things with this machine that you could run into problems with. So to pop these cowlings off, you pop these rubber and you can slide this off, and this gets you to the belt compartment, and the belt's in here in the toolbox. And so you'd also want to take this front cowling off. So pretty much everything's in here besides the battery. The spark plugs are in here, the belt's in here, and the toolbox. So you'd pop this open, and this is your toolbox. And what you'd need for tools here is this little guy right here. And this little guy, what you're going to do is, you're going to pull this pin. Belt's up here, spare belt is in this compartment here, pops right off. And you're going to open this. Not tricky. There we go. And there's one open slot here. And what you're going to do is you're going to screw the screw into this slot, just like a regular screw. And what this clutch does is it'll open up and take pressure off of this belt. And you can see that happening right now. And once pressure's off enough, you'll be able to pop that belt over the top of the spool and put a new belt on. So some of the crucial things with this belt is you're looking for is the writing is always up and the grooves are always down. And your belt is your main operation to move this machine. And so if the belt's not spinning, then you're eating the belt up because this is spinning. Some of the things that might happen is you might start out and you either have your brake on or your machine could be frozen to the ground. You would want to move your machine around and make sure it's not frozen to the ground, or your belt could be fried, and that would cause you to not move. So you can let this out to pull your belt off. Take this out, set it back up on top, and then your belt will pop off, and you could put your new belt on, and then the second you get back on the machine to ride it, this will tighten back up. So you'd close this back. It's kind of a lot of things here to lock into place. Put the pin back in, and then your spark plugs. Your spark plugs are your next thing that's going to foul on a 2-stroke. So your spark plugs are in here, so this pops out. And then you have 2 spark plugs here that can both be accessed. The machine has extra spark plugs in it. There's one there and one here. So you'd also have a tool in the toolbox to pull your spark plug out. And if your spark plugs are fouled, there will be fluid or oil on the actual end of the spark plug. So on this side of the sled is our oil and our battery, in case you ever need to get to the battery to jump start it. These machines are 2-strokes, so they mix their own oil-fuel mixture. All the new machines run on a synthetic blend of oil that we bought. Actually, all the machines are going to take this same oil now. And in this reservoir, right now it's 3/4 full. You will fill this up, and this will last a couple trips. It's not something that has to be filled every time you fill the fuel, but you would look at it and see if you need it to make sure. And then obviously this is full, and then down here is your fuel. And your fuel was full on the fuel gauge, and you can see it right there, and it's full. These 2 machines are a 1999 and a 2000 Polaris 600s. These are our 2 older sleds. They're touring machines. They're made for transporting people. They're not designed to go slow and pull the patient sleds, but they can, especially if you're moving a little bit higher speeds and you're throwing more snow to cool it. So these two Polarises, a little older technology, same deal as the Ski-Doos. No tether, still have a kill switch. You would, on these sleds, are also electric start, but most likely the batteries are dead, being older. So you turn this in the on position, and then you'd have to turn the choke on either half or full. You can start out half, and then pull start. So, and then you turn the choke off. That machine should run good. Reverse is a little different. It's a manual reverse, so you're pulling on that, and the machine's in reverse right now. The engine's actually not turning the opposite direction. Back in here, high and low hand grips, thumb warmer, just like the other machines. And right there are your lights, high beams, low beams. Fuel gauge, speedometer, fuel's down here. Same thing, you're putting regular fuel in this and the machine is mixing itself. We'll just pop this off right now. In the engine compartment. Some similarities, your belts here, spark plugs, everything's easier to get to. This is for your radiator, so these have radiators. Those ones are fan cooled, and this is where we're putting our oil in. Turn that machine off. So your battery's there for your electric start. Okay. All machines have toolboxes in them. This toolbox is back here behind the seat. This toolbox has spark plugs and wrenches in it. This machine with your belt change. Your belt's right here, you're popping the belt off, pulling the pin out, the belt's here, and this belt will actually just pop right off, and then you can put the new one on.